Hey everyone, how y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. I know yesterday's video was a bit intense with everything that happened. Well, let's face it, here lately the videos have been a little bit more intense. Mostly just trying to document how I've been feeling with the episodes that I've been having with, so I get, especially as we get closer to these appointments with Mayo, I've just been mostly focused on documenting that, and I've also been focusing more on just resting, um, keeping my strength, and so forth, so I can get to those appointments. And of course, yesterday's video with regards to the loss that I'm going through right now. Of course, that was a bit intense. For those of you wondering who this person was, he was somebody who was very important for me. And I've had a lot of time. Well, basically, I've had the last 24 hours to do some digesting, remembering things that we talked about, especially as of recent, and so forth. You know how you do, and everything. I know I desperately need a shower. Between not feeling well this weekend and everything else, and then everything yesterday, I haven't had the opportunity to get a shower. I know, in many ways, I feel so drained today. I feel like I just want to curl up and sleep. But I need to get back to work. That's the thing that has really been hitting me. Kind of hard. Is even with waking up this morning, it's just feeling lost. I guess, with everything that happened between finding out what happened with my mom, with her remains, and of course losing Mario. Those of you who know, or I guess don't know, we did date for a while. Yeah, but we remained friends afterwards. With everything, it in some ways, yeah, it made me lose my flavor for Vegas. I guess in some ways, without realizing it consciously, there were things that were holding me back and making me want to go back. In many ways, I was doing my shadow work, facing it, putting an end to all of the relationships. I'm talking all, my mom, my babies were also in there, previous babies that I had. And Mario, knowing that, we weren't ever going to be getting back together or anything like that, but there was still that attachment there. even with the friendship. Thinking about all of my belongings I lost. It was like a huge door slammed yesterday. Not just really everything that has happened to me over the past 50 years. And wondering, what do I do now? Yeah, in some ways I'm been looking for answers. And more than just, to find out what happened to him, what the fuck happened, More than just that. Feeling like I said, the last 50 years, that door has been slammed. I feel like I had said yesterday, that everything has been being stripped from me. Everything, everybody in my life, basically has been being stripped from me. And of course it was pointed out to me, oh, you're still alive. You still have you. You still have your life. But what does that look like when there's nothing left? It's hard to take. Oh, you start over. Doing what? Who am I? I have no idea. And I came to the conclusion, and actually I was watching MJ Cramore's videos. A couple of them this morning. Especially the morning message. That one resonated big time because it was coming in with some other messages that I was seeing on social media. Some of the spiritual channels that I follow. And it's like she said, sometimes being at a standstill is just as important. And she's right. And I reminded myself too, this morning I ran down to get some gas. Real cheap, $2.29 a gallon. I was like, holy shit, it's been ages since I paid $2.29 a gallon. This one gas station up the road, on Wednesdays, they seem to throw specials on, especially when you use your loyalty rewards number. And I went down there primarily because it was showing on my Chime app with the rewards that I was only going to pay, I think, what was it, $2.49 a gallon or something like that. And then when I put in my rewards number with them specifically, outside of my Chime app, that I was only going to be paying $2.29. I'm like, sweet. I think it was $2.29 or $2.24 or something like that. I don't remember. I know I got the receipt out in the car. But anyway, I ran down there to gas up, and I also ran across the street to Walmart. Picked myself up some comfort food, basically, with a little bit of money that I had left. And this was even before I watched MJ's video. I actually just got done watching her videos before I jumped up on here. The other one I watched was the one for Aquarius. which Aquarius is my Lilith. So anyway, as I was coming out of Walmart, pulling out of the parking lot, pulling out to the traffic light there, that I was reminded that, yeah, I have no idea who I am. Let's put it this way. I know who I am. I know how I've grown since I've gotten here. I know how much I have rebuilt, my self-confidence. But as far as direction is concerned, and feeling like these last 50 years have pretty much been stripped away from me, right now, what's most important is for me to focus on Mayo. Not mayonnaise, but the Mayo Clinic. Focus on those appointments. That's what's most important right now. I'll admit, the thought of going back out to work is difficult. Because this sort of work that I have been doing for the majority of the last 20 years has been focused around those that I have loved and cared about the most. I have a lot of memories. Around that. Between cab driving, I did it initially to support my mom and my babies. And then that's also how I met Mario. I also, after she died, that's when I met him. And then after my car accident, I wound up getting into it. He was still a cab driver at the time. I met a lot of my friends that way. People, unfortunately, so many of them who I thought were my friends, come to find out they really weren't. It's another story, or I should say, a bunch of other stories. Those people I knew that I still loved and cared about. Even if the feelings were, I don't know what word to use there, misguided? I don't know. And even when I wasn't driving, I was still in it, one way or another, through my friends and so forth. Even with driving here, when I would be out, I'd usually be thinking about him. Wishing he would, because we had talked a little bit just before he passed, about the struggles he was having with how things were dwindling out there. he was still doing ride sharing. I, of course, was doing deliveries. Well, I wasn't doing deliveries again just yet. I was still at the other place that I was working when I first got here. Yeah, I know. I've been picking a lot. My nerves have been fried. Um, and I tried even at that time to be like, hey, maybe try and get a job with them. Maybe move out here if he wanted to stay about still, having that free lifestyle that we all enjoy with doing this sort of work. At least he'd be getting paid better out here because of the laws that are in place here versus out there. I was trying to tell him, sell the fucking house. It's not worth it. I had no condition. I had no idea what condition. That's what I'm trying to say. It was in. I was never able to see. I had no idea if he had ever made the repairs and so forth. For all I know, the interior could be a mess. Hasn't sold. It's still in probate. It's not for sale either just yet. I don't know what they're gonna do with the family. I don't much care. And no, I have no intention of suing the contractor for doing what he did with my mom and so forth. It's just not worth it to me. Why drag out feelings? It's done. It's over with. It's something that needed to be done. I never did it. For one reason or another. I put the blame on myself. I should have taken care of it all. But I couldn't let go. That's what it boiled down to. And now I've been forced to. And that's where I'm at a crossroads with everything. And like I was saying, with doing the work that I'm doing with the deliveries, I would always be thinking about him, being like worried about him, being like, hey, you should come out here, or just leave Vegas. Just thinking about the conversations that we had before I left and everything. And I'll admit, the last year I was a bit worried about him. I seen kind of a darkness forming about him. And I don't know. The coroner's report. As of yesterday, anyway, it hadn't been updated. A lot happened out there. In some ways, I feel like someone who's just been through a divorce. What do I do now? I just lost the last umpteen years of my life. Actually, I was making a little bit of jokes yesterday. Like I had said, It's like I've lost, well, when I made the joke, I thought at that point it was now only 3 people who used to be cab drivers, but it was actually 4. I had forgotten one person. And I made the joke that, hey, I'm glad I switched over to doing deliveries now. Oh my. She's sleeping. And she's talking in her sleep. I think she's having a nightmare. Not surprising. After everything that happened yesterday. I forgot to ask the attorney what happened to his cat. Her name was Shelley. Just making sure that she's being taken care of, basically. I forgot to ask yesterday. I just... And I haven't heard from his family, and I don't expect to either. I don't know. I just feel right now the best thing for me to do is just to be. And focus on my health. Stay focused on taking care of her and keeping up with the car rental so I can get to Mayo. A lot's been going through my brain. A lot lived out there. A lot of memories have been creeping up. I still wonder if I'm going to wind up outliving everybody, even with this broken body. But I guess that goes to show the sort of strength that I had. And I've also been thinking a lot about the sort of people I've had in my life. And I can't help but think about how quickly either the sorts of energies that they have had, or how quickly they've broken down in the face of adversity, but also showing with things that I've been thinking about what sort of resolve I have had over the years, and probably why a lot of these people have been drawn to me. I'll admit, I've been thinking about things with Mario, how stubborn he could be, how much he wouldn't listen. Even when we both knew full damn good and well he was wrong. Not to say that I'm much any better. But I just keep thinking about if he just would have listened, you know. Quite a few things. But unfortunately, I also know he had to go down a path that he knew that he felt was right for him. I don't know. And maybe that's what it boiled down to, too. Me thinking, I could have saved him if he just would have listened. Oh well. It is what it is. I have a lot to figure out. I'll have things to resolve. Anyway, I do have to get back to work. In the meantime, I am working on something else. I don't know how quickly I'm going to be getting back to it, all things considered. But it is something I can work on when I'm in the car. And I'm not ready to discuss what that is yet. So, anyhow, love you guys.